On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, I'll share things I learned on Sesame Street.
And we'll learn about horn hunting and mitten fondling.
Plus, She's All That, Goddess Edition.
I want a hot dog. Let's do this.
Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz.
And today we're going to talk Season 6, Episode 6, You Can't Handle the Truth.
I feel like there should have been another 6, right? Because I'm looking at it like in front of me and I just see 6, and it's just sad. I'm like, where's it? Where's the third 6?
Where's the third?
66 is lonely, man.
Yeah. Sorry to disappoint you on that one. Yeah,
so
we're
we are back
after a couple back after a couple weeks. We went on vacation.
We went on a fancy ass cruise is what we did. We got bougie. It was, and granted, I may have been more bougie than others.
You were extra bougie.
But I kind of feel like if you're going to do that, you just kind of have to commit. Like you can't half-ass that. You just have to dive in and have a manservant named Gavin to assist you. So over our break, I acquired a manservant. He was a British fellow named Gavin, and unfortunately, he kept asking like what he could do for me, and I'm just like, nothing, man. Like I'm cool. Like I kind of got my shit covered. Like I was like, the best thing about this boat. So this is. This is our Virgin Cruise podcast, as well as where we talk about the TV show Supernatural.
Right.
But so our review of this cruise, the Virgin Cruise. So if you couldn't tell, I was a rock star and Diana was just a sailor.
Yeah,
so
just a sailor.
It's a classist boat. There are various classes on it. You can be a sailor, and then you could like step up into VIP sailor, which by getting another package, right? So like Diana got a romance package,
splash of romance,
a splash of splooge or something. So basically, with that one, like they got like forced to do things with other. I'm just like, you had to do shit with other couples.
No, we didn't. We got to board earlier, and we got what else? We got snacks delivered 3 different days, and we got some free juice from the juice bar, and then we got a nice little champagne toast another day.
Okay, so this is the other thing. Virgin has this thing
and the
called
shake for champagne.
That's what I'm saying. They had this thing called Shake for Champagne. And so what happens is if you jiggle your phone while the Virgin app is on, it thinks that you're shaking for champagne. So if you're a nervous person who has tics and shit while they're waiting for elevators and they're just like fumbling around with their fucking hands, then your app suddenly goes, "Are you shaking for champagne?" And you're like, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to get the elevator. And then you're just like, it's like calling 911 and like trying to be like, no, sorry, I didn't mean to call 911. I did not mean to call for champagne. I just was shaking my phone.
Well, there is a multi-step process because I did learn, because I did shake for champagne once. You have the app open, you shake your phone, and then it's like, did you mean to do this? And if so, press this giant button, and then you press the button, then it verifies where you are, then it brings the champagne. So it's
that's a 2-step process. I could still, but yeah. But it was exciting.
So, yeah. Well, you wouldn't want to do it on accident because it costs money. But yeah,
exactly.
So, that's like and we got to spa pass. That's the other thing we got with it. I got a 3-hour spa pass.
Which is great, but I also went to a spa before and after our cruise, which honestly, dudes, I kind of recommend that because it gave us a day so while Diana was dealing with the hectic world of the airports, I was in Miami getting massage and hanging out at a spa and just kind of relaxing and going through my vacation in my brain and getting used my land legs back, because that boat was a rockin'.
Oh yeah. I felt like I was on a boat for 2.5 days after we got back. It didn't make
Yeah,
me
that's
sick. It
crazy.
was just a really weird sensation. I was just like,
Yeah,
I
it
still
was
feel
weird.
still feel like I'm kind of on a fucking boat, and I'm not. I am standing in the middle of Texas. I don't understand. But yeah, but no, it was a cool experience. I think overall, the rockin' part kind of blew. I think the ship was beautiful. I think the food was really good especially for being on a ship. Some of it was
Yeah,
actually good. Some of it was good for actually like regular restaurant
ever.
world. Like
No,
I
some
think
of
so.
it
It was
was,
excellent.
the food was all like super amazing. It was
Yeah,
great, although
I was
like
impressed.
apparently they don't like chips and dip. That is like my biggest like complaint. Like I would have liked more chips and dip. Like the only like
Yeah.
occasionally at like some of the levels you could get like some fake, like they had like fake words for guacamole. Like there was never an actually just like straight up fucking guacamole. Like what
Oh, there
is wrong
was,
with you
but
fucking,
they put pomegranate seeds in it.
that's not
Remember?
straight up guacamole. That is not. That is some fancy ass motherfucker saying like, no, guacamole should be avocado, lime juice, garlic powder, and salt. And then you maybe like sometimes throw in some red
Tomato,
onions to
onion, and
fancy it up.
jalapeno. Tomato, onion,
You,
and jalapeno.
I'm not opposed to like those additions, but like what I have said is like the bare
The fancy
minimum,
shit.
and also just like kind of where you need to be. And if you have that, you're good. And like to me, that's healthier than all that other like half of their shit. Maybe not the garlic powder and salt, but whatever. It's I know
I was amused that
I
we had
miss
to get.
dipping.
Well, I know when we were there, for like the first day or so, you're real awkward because it was the food's all inclusive, alcohol's not, blah blah blah. But the restaurants, like you sit there and you'd finish and you're like, what do we just leave? Like, what do we do? Like, it was real awkward for a minute, and then we're like, oh shit, we do just leave. Then Dave and I went out to eat last weekend, and we're like, oh wait, we have to wait for our tab. We're home now. We can't just.
We can't just get up and leave.
Which I wouldn't do it intentionally, but it was just funny. I'm like, oh yeah, we got to readjust.
Yeah,
so, like,
no.
Yeah.
You're like, is that what it would be like in a socialist world? I don't know. We just get up and leave. No, I don't know.
But yeah. So no,
but
we got
yeah,
some cool
but the
stuff
other
on the trip though.
We did. Also, one more bitch about it though is just that they were like you said about like the getting it, like not knowing like if you should just get up and go. That cruise does a terrible job of telling people what the fuck is going on. And if I didn't have, my servant boy, Gavin, like I would not have known like half of the shit that we needed to know about getting on, getting off, where do you dock? Like, because he would text me every morning and be like, these are the rules. Nobody else got the rules.
No,
and it was just kind
of only the super like rock stars get the rules. I'm like, I'm just wandering around like a moron because I'm just a sailor.
Right?
Like, I should have the base information. The basic information should be communicated more clearly. For sure.
And then if you like asked for like how things work, sometimes people were really happy to give it to you and just like, oh, of course I'll tell you this. And I'm like, but why don't you just tell everybody like how this works?
And then like really you would nice for the most part too.
No, the service was great. They just like figured like everybody knew like what they were doing.
Yeah. And especially being first time cruisers on top of it probably didn't help us. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of first time cruisers on.
There were so many people.
There's a lot of people I talked to.
I heard like yeah, no, and like every time that
Nobody
like I finally like I gave up or Diana gave up and just asked somebody what the fuck was going on because neither of us have a personality to just sit and like wait and look like a moron. Like I need to know what we're doing. Yeah, but I know we got off the boat and there was like customs people and they were yelling at us and I was just like, yes, yell at me, tell me what to do, tell me where to go, put me in a line, like just like, because like the thing is like I feel bad if I violate your rules. Like
I'm trying to do the right thing here, so tell me what the right thing is.
Yeah, I was at one of their like entertainment shows, and I had a drink in the front row, which like one of the super snacky little guys who had worked like the elite bar, but you can only get to if you're a rock star. He was down there, and he put my wine into a plastic glass. So like he puts my wine into a plastic glass, and so I go and I sit in the front row, and then like 10 minutes before the show starts, a girl comes up and she does that kind of like, I'm sorry, but you can't have wine in the front row for the performer's sake. Can you move? And then I just feel like an asshole. And I'm like, if you had just told me when I walked in, If you have a
that'd be
drink,
fine.
don't sit in the front row. I wouldn't have
Right.
sat in the front row.
Yeah. That would have been
Like, and
helpful.
don't just like come
Instead
up
of
with that
making it a
unhealthy.
thing later.
Well, and it's like, and it's that fake "I'm sorry that you're wrong," like doing something wrong voice that just drove me crazy. Like, I hate that kind of like people like that deference. I'm like, because I'm like, I'm not better than you. We're the same. Don't serve me. Don't wait on me. Like, I'm one of you. I'm one of the people.
We're the same. Yeah.
But
Oh
you know
my
what I
God.
mean. Like, anyways.
Yeah.
So,
No, I saw a little bit of that. I felt the communication could have been decent help. But we got to go to 3 countries on our trip outside of obviously departing to and from Miami. I got to eat some badass Cuban food and got some good seafood in Miami. We spent a day at a beautiful private beach in
I
Costa
like how
Maya.
you said I was like, I ate badass Cuban food. I went to
You
my
did
friends,
too, but
like,
not with her
I went to my
family. I went
friends,
to a restaurant.
I went to a Cuban house, which was
You
so
did,
much better. It
I'm
was
sure.
so Cuban that her grandmother was telling her mom in Spanish that I would have eaten more of the arroz con pollo if she had made it. And that was like one of the best things I ever heard. And I was just like, you're berating your daughter in front of me, and I kind of love you for it. She's 90 and still being like, bitch, my rice is better than yours.
Oh my gosh.
Families, yeah.
But yeah, so we got a private beach day in Costa Maya, Mexico, and then we got to explore around Honduras, Roatan specifically, where I'll let Liz share her dream come true from that.
I mean, so Roatan, like, when I don't know how I feel about it. Like, it's one of those countries I really want to go back to, just
Really?
because I want to see it off of like more
Not
than
super
just those
tourism
few
day.
hours. Yeah, not tourism. I mean, like, we had a guy who was showing us around who got into a fight with a fucking machete.
Yeah.
Like a person with a machete, not like he was fighting a machete, but like a person had it.
Cut. Yeah, he got hit in the face with a freaking machete because shit's cray in Honduras.
Yeah. So like there's that. Cause like part of me like thinks that island was super cool. And he's just like, look at all this investment, it's great. And I'm also like, look at all that rainforest y'all are cutting down. We don't have a lot of, but also like y'all are really poor. And so I want you to have this investment. I want you to have like,
Jobs.
There's like a lot of cats that need to be saved and iguanas that need to be eaten. And so,
No, you get in trouble if you eat the iguanas, remember?
So I am on a mission. All right. So I need people to come. If you have lived in Honduras, I need someone to verify this because somebody from Nicaragua told me that we were being made fun of. So if you get caught with an iguana, do you go to jail? Because that is the story we were told when I was hugging the magical sloth.
You were hugging the sloth.
I was, and that's we found one of our mini retirement and things that'll happen. It will be one of the offshoots of the cult will be sloth therapy, because I think we determined that the sloths really like to hug people, and so we'll just lay a sloth on a person for like an hour, it's gonna be part of it, and that's how you're gonna help reach nirvana or whatever we decide your ascension will be, whatever. But apparently our guide there told us that if you basically, yes, they do like to eat iguanas, we know that, but we were told that it is illegal to hunt them, and that if you get caught with one, you go to jail for 24 hours for each day of the iguana. Each iguana.
For each iguana that you have in your possession. Yes. And
although I have looked, trust me, I have looked on the internet, I have not been able to verify this. I do know that there are iguanas on that island which are endangered, which would make sense of overeating. I was going to say overfishing, but you don't fish for iguanas. Over catching, I guess.
Sure.
But there was nothing.
Are they harvesting iguanas?
Over harvesting, yeah. So if you know what this is, if we were being fucked with, or good on them. If they were fucking with us, they had us hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we got to the other big, it's a pretty island, and then we got to go snorkel, and that was great too.
It was honestly, I think some of the best snorkel. That's some of the best reef that I've ever seen.
It was beautiful. It's the same reef that we've snorkeled before in Belize, so it was just further north. So it's that. It just
was different. It was different. Like I think like the fan coral was really different. Like Diana's like, no, it's the same. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I just think that like that. So how do you put nature into words? Damn you, nature.
You just can't. But you just can't. It was a very idyllic and beautiful reef. It felt a little less in Belize, like we get to, it's a lot of there's parts that we went to that are really like secluded and not people around. And then there's parts that are like obviously like heavily trafficked. And then this one, while there seemed to be a lot of people around, they seem to not interfere with the reef. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, I would have liked less people. I think there was a lot of, but I also didn't feel like we were bothered that much. Like, I still felt pretty like pretty at peace. It was just like me, Dave, or Babe and Diana. It was me, Babe, and Diana, and our guide, who like was the sweetest dude ever, and just. But I really liked like where the drop off was. I don't know. I feel like there was a really diverse fish population, and just there were no eels.
It's a lot.
I also appreciated no eels.
Gold star for
and
eels.
And we did learn that they do night snorkeling there, and I really want to go back and do night snorkeling. I've never done that. That is now definitely a bucket list.
Yeah.
All right. So amazing. I know our intro has gone way too long. We are here to actually talk about Supernatural. One last thing though, I will say the last day when I stayed, I went to a drag brunch, as I am wont to do. And the drag brunch was hosted by Neil Patrick Harris and David Burkett. Is that how you say his name? Whatever. Neil, MPH's husband. He's very cute. He was very sweet. So I was sitting at this table, and I am wearing
a lovely giant hat.
I'm wearing a lovely giant hat. And there's a reason, because I had looked at the website as I was trolling things before. And like I said, this is going to be an outside event. And I was like, oh shit, like I had Snorkelback from Honduras. So I was already pretty sunburned. Snorkelback is also Babe's new band, which will feature covers of Nickelback songs about pirates. So that is something that also came out of this trip. Look forward to the new release from Snorkelback coming soon. I would parody a song name, but I don't know any of them. So anyways, so at this drag brunch, we have a really nice table, and we're kind of close to the front. And I'd seen this entourage come in, but I'm being cool because I have a big floppy hat on and giant sunglasses, and I'm just drinking my drink. Yeah. I'm like, I'm too cool to care about who's around me, but and so, but then I keep like hearing people behind me like going to take selfies with somebody, and I keep hearing like, I'm sorry, but I'm your biggest fan. I'm sorry, but I had to get this for somebody. I'm sorry. And I'm like, all I can see when I turn is like blonde hair. And we have a friend with us who's fucking useless. Alan, you're goddamn useless. And I was like, who is that? Because he's like sitting across from me, and he is just like, I don't know. And I'm like, and finally, like, I'm able to like take I'm pretending to do a selfie and angling right, and it's James goddamn Krakowski, and I'm like, what the holy shit? And I'm just like, that is like what, like, probably like, and I've been around celebrities, but she's a big fucking deal, and I understand why everybody was there. And so fast forward through the event, and now like, so pretty much she's right behind me. So as we turn to watch the stage, you know how you put your arm on the side of your chair? Our elbows are like arms, like right leg. I'm like forearm to forearm with Jane Krakowski, but I'm cool, right? Ooh. And we're just like, we're bopping to the performers, and I'm just cheering. I'm like, yeah, cool. And she's like looking at me, and we're just like, yeah. So I'm dancing, and then we get up and like we're dancing. I'm like dancing to Jane Krakowski, like, but not with, just next, like
next to,
but respectful distance,
Yeah.
And then throughout the event, then they come down. They come to talk to Anna Navarro from The View, and also a political activist about stuff was going. Obviously, drag brunch. Wonder what she was talking about. Anyways, right. And so while MPH is coming down, there is a dude at this other table, right? And so it's an outside event out in Miami at the Band Shell, something like that. It's a fun amphitheater by the beach. But there's not a lot of room, which hence why me and Jane Krakowski were forearm to forearm.
Rubbing arms.
There's not a lot of space between these chairs.
Literally rubbing elbows with Jane Krakowski.
I was rubbing elbows. And so MPH is trying to get through with this microphone, and like this guy is like sitting in his chair, and he does not move his chair to let him through, and like he's asking him like, can you move your chair? And like the guy is just looking at him with like this like dumb look at his face, and finally like he gives up and just basically kind of like jumps through. And so he talks to Anna, and then like, not like first name, but this is like whatever. So he talks to one group, and then I can see he's coming over to talk to Ms. Krakowski. So I get up because I'm next, the same thing is about to happen. And he's like, thank you. And I go, I be respectful. And I go and I stand next to my friend. My friend is like, why did you get up? I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with people? Like, you get up when someone's doing a bit and there's a form, like, I don't understand. So, but anyways, as like, then he's done doing his bit with Jane, and then as he's going back, he looks at me, he goes, your hat is gorgeous. And then he walks back on the stage. So my life is complete now.
Just, rubbing elbows with Jane Krakowski and taking compliments from Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, I mean, we're like best friends now, right? I told you I was going there to become his hag, and like, yeah, I think we settled it. So Mr. Harris. Anyways, it was a box checked. Okay, so couple of supernatural things. The Winchesters wrapped up this week. I believe tonight, as we are recording this, is when it's wrapping up. There is a push because the new bosses of whatever, I just want to call them Nexium, but Nexstar, whoever bought CW, has not renewed this yet. So there is a push to get the hashtag renew the Winchesters trending on Twitter and other social media. So we'll drop this on Thursday. So that's still plenty of time to go get that going. Let's keep the supernatural dream alive. Yeah, I don't know. That's I something cheesy here.
Very not Liz.
Yeah, I'm drinking wine. All right. And then also this weekend in San Antonio is Alamo HeroCon. That'll be March 11th and 12th. And so there will be Julian Richings, a.k.a. O'Death, and also AJ Buckley and Travis Wester, a.k.a. Ghostfacers. So if you go to Alamo HeroCon, it's outside of San Antonio in like Shirts, or I don't know, one of the German towns adjacent to it. So it's pretty easy driving from Austin or Dallas, Those are actually kind of fun because you get to talk to the people who are there and get to meet them. Ghostfacers are great. You can take pictures there will be an Impala there. You can have pictures with all three of them or one of them or two of them, just depending on how much money you want to spend. So there you go. Okay. So are you ready for You Can't Handle the Truth
episode? Yeah.
The
ready enough.
I have so many puns to make. I think we have to do the requisite trigger warning. We're going to talk. There's a lot of suicide talk in this, so just heads up. But you should know that if you saw this episode. All right. So obviously, I don't say obviously, but some of you may be youngins and not remember this movie. There was a movie called A Few Good Men with Jack Nicholson and Mr. Scientology himself, Tom Cruise. Yep. And did one of them yelled at one of them? I think Jack Nicholson yelled it at Tom Cruise that you can't handle the truth.
Yeah, it was a whole thing like, I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. It's a famous clip from a movie. So
it was about Navy people. But also, fun fact, Jensen did appear in a production of A Few Good Men in Fort Worth in June of 2007.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So that is funny. This was season 6, episode 6, as I said earlier, missing our extra 6. It first aired October 29th, 2010, so full on spooky season. This was directed by Jan Eliasberg, and this was her only supernatural episode. But she's been directing TV since Cagney and Lacey. She was the first female director on Miami Vice and
Okay.
Crime Story. I don't know what Crime Story is, but that was on her bio, and they seemed very, very happy for it. She did 21 Jump Street. She did a bunch of pilots. She's worked with all sorts of famous people. Has done all sorts of television, including The Magicians and Supernatural and Nashville and Parenthood. She wrote a book called Hannah's War that is a historical thing about a woman physicist working to develop the atomic bomb. That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
The teleplay was credited to Eric Carmelo and Nicole Snyder, who are this writer duo who I kind of fell in love with as I was reading and listening to them on podcasts. They're like best friends. And they're a writer team, and they're just like best friends who met in college, and they started writing, and for like over 20 years have like written shit for CW and into NBC and Netflix, etc. Just I don't know, kind of love them. So this is their first episode for them, but we'll see some more for them later on. And the story was credited to them and also David Reed, who did write my favorite episode, Hammer of the Gods. So that's our backstory on this, and there was some other little fun facts as we go through this. But we're going to start off at one of our favorite. Are you catching on to this restaurant chain? I love how like in a universe there are like chains that just like pop up over and over again. So this is a supernatural restaurant, Biggerson's, which I think is a take maybe like a Hortons or something. But
yeah. And we've got our waitress named Jane, and she's on the phone going on about some boy not calling her back. And then says to her sister she's on the phone with that she really just wants the truth. Then she gets off the phone and goes to pick up an order to take to a table from the chef. And the chef tells her that he pities her. And a little bit more goes on from there with some pretty not nice statements, and then tells her to stay away from the clam chowder because it has its own seasoning.
He came in the chowder. Everyone stay away from the chowder. And it's so gross. It's so gross. And then followed by this, the manager tells her she's a 3. And I think that's really wrong. I mean, she's a very cute girl. Like, yeah. I don't understand what this whole, like, she's ugly. Like, this is a very attractive young lady. Like,
yeah, she's cute.
I don't know what's going on in Hollywood. Y'all could have done differently.
And then she goes in to check on a table that she's waiting on, where an older woman just volunteers to her that she once ran over a homeless man. And then then things get weirder as she's walking by a small child who said that she wants to burn. She hates her mommy and wants to burn her in her sleep.
What the fuck is wrong with this town?
Then a coworker tells Jane that she gives him the creeps and makes him physically nauseous.
Yeah, okay, the creep and the nauseous thing is fine, but, like, you killed a man and you want to burn your mother?
Yeah,
like, this is, like, some of the things, like, problems I have in this episode is, like, the fucked up shit that this is not the truth. Like, these people are psychotic. Like, the truth is not going to be, I want to, like, maybe it's, like, I want to, like, shake my mother like a baby. Yes, that is definitely something I've thought of this past week. But like, I'm not going to be like, I want to burn her in her sleep.
Yeah, that's a lot.
No, it's
kind of odd. That right there. This illustrates what is going to be my biggest complaint about this episode and how it's written. Just so you know. But that's okay. Because these do not feel like quote unquote truths. These are extremes.
Yeah, they're not true. I don't know what this is. But
extreme emotional, irrational thoughts of some kind, maybe. But anyways, so obviously Jane's real fucking upset, like you would be. If you're
she's having a day. She's having a day.
And so, but she's having such a day. These voices are getting louder, and she goes and gets a revolver out of the drawer, and then gets on the phone with her sister again, and is like, "Please come pick me up." Which is weird that she's carrying the gun now and did that. Just saying.
Do you think like I'm assuming her head was probably playing the I'm gonna call my sister, and if she says a good thing, then I won't do this. If she comes against
Right.
me, or whatever.
Right.
But her sister done fucks it up.
No, because her
Damn
sister
girl,
starts saying some real
damn.
fucked up shit. Like real, like, have you been drinking? And yeah, you are crazy and freaking out. You are certifiable, and you should just kill yourself already.
Yeah. And I know this is like
Gosh.
a cyber bully thing, but like, yeah, never ever say to anybody, "Why don't you just go ahead and kill yourself already?" Even if you think, just don't. Like, and I know this, but then what's really disturbing is they cut to Dean in a hot dog stand, and I just immediately crave a hot dog, and that's what's wrong. Like, it's like I should be like more disturbed, but all I want is like I'm gonna see a hot dog, and I want a hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about.
Dean's on the phone with Bobby, and they're going back through this "what's wrong with Sam" convo. Bobby says he's been tested. Dean's like, nah, he's still different. And Bobby's like, fine, maybe I'll go hit the books, but don't do anything stupid in the meantime. Treat Sam like the case, if anything else.
Yeah, but Bobby wants
kill his ass.
Yeah, and Bobby wants him to be professional. And again, like, you're hunters. You don't work in a bank. What is this professional bullshit? You got to be professional. What the fuck are you talking about, Bobby?
So Sam pops up though as they get off the phone, and he's got a newspaper in his hand. And he's tracked down. There's been these 4 suicides in this town in a very short period of time. So they're going to go investigate because it could be something. And
in between, maybe he said that. Did Dean actually try and call Lisa then, and then he ignored her? Because they have a Lisa.
I think he looked at it.
Did Sam? Okay. So Dean lied to Sam. That's what happened. Dean lied to Sam when Sam came walking up, and instead of saying he was talking to Bobby, said he was trying to call Lisa. And this is how we learned that Lisa is avoiding Dean. Because I had a note that said, "Good for you, Lisa." And I was like, I know something happened.
Yeah. Okay. So they go to Jane's house to talk to her sister. And her sister is very rightfully confused as to why the fuck the feds are investigating a suicide.
And creepy Sam says that it's a more caring administration, and the look on his face is just fucking disturbing. Gross. But what is not disturbing is a very cute cat calendar she has.
Yeah, and the sister's like, look, I don't know. She was having a really bad day. I tried to cheer up and told her to hang in there. But Sam's like, and she pushes her hair behind her ear when she does it. And Sam's like, do you know what a tell is? And she's like bluffing and lying.
Shut cues!
And Dean looks like shocked because basically Sam is telling this sister that she fucking lied about this chick, that she's lying about her sister's suicide. And the chick's like, what? Then she's like, then she breaks down and admits the truth.
But I also was just like, well, this is like, yeah, he really is acting like a Fed. Like, this just seems like a thing, like an asshole, like FBI agent, and be like, come on, like, your sister just died. Why aren't you lying to me? And she'd be like, but my sister just, why are you lying to me, bitch? Like, I'm just like, oh, shit. And that's why Dean's like, dude, like, you probably should slow down a little bit.
Yeah. So she starts crying and she's like, yeah, I wanted to tell her I love you. I'm here for you. But instead I said that you're a burden and you should kill yourself. But then she even says, like, she's like, who says that? And I couldn't stop. Like, she felt like she couldn't stop saying it. So, but the brothers find no sign of any sulfur or hexes in their house. So now they got to figure out what made sister say that.
Yep. So, and he says, like, what makes the sis open her big fat mouth? Which is, like, why are y'all hurting on this girl, man? She was so cute. So we go from there and we cut to a dentist. And so the guy says, as he's, like, nervous in the chair, maybe you should have given me a prescription for a Valium. Is that something dentists do? Can my dentist be giving me Valium? Do you know how many surgeries I've had? Like, they could have just, like, given me some fucking Valium.
Well, I think there's some dentists that will if you go to, like, ones that are for people that are nervous. I don't know.
I'm not nervous. That shit fucking hurt. Like, if you can make it not hurt, like, I'll tell you I'm scared.
I think the Valium is usually for the nerves, I think, on things like that.
I
But
would
either
care
way,
less that it hurt if I was on Valium, anyways.
so the dentist and this guy and his patient are buds, obviously, and the dentist is like
That's
reaching
weird.
into
Don't be a dentist for your friend. That's weird,
and
right?
he's like, hey, we should, you and your wife and us, and we should go to dinner again sometime. And the the patient replies that he's just not that into her anymore. About his wife, and says that her saggy skin makes me want to hurl. And then goes on to say that he has urges. That's why he skipped the camping trip with the kids because of Melissa, who's the dentist's daughter. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. But the dentist's daughter, Melissa, was there for Jill, who's obviously this patient's kid daughter's slumber party. And then goes on to say that it's not that I couldn't control myself. I knew I wouldn't get caught, and I didn't. Yeah, the dentist shoves his drill in his throat, rightfully so. Good job, sir.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Not mad at him. So basically, this dude just confesses to molesting this guy's child, and you think this is weird, but like people like randomly confess this shit to me all the time, and just like this, like I forgot, like when I was in like last week, somebody when I was buying like cat litter told me that his dad molested his sister, and I was like, cool. Can I pay with a debit card?
You sent me an audio message. You're like, I don't know why I know this, but now you know this.
Someone else had to know this. I couldn't be the only one who knew this poor guy's like sister was molested by her dad. What the?
I mean,
I just want a kitty litter.
I don't know. It's a lot of.
He's dead. I think. I don't know.
How do you know this? That's even more information. Oh my God. I don't know.
No. The guy's mom was dead. And yeah, I think the guy's mom was dead and that his dad was missing. I don't know. This was just what happened when I was buying kitty litter. Yeah.
So
the nurse walks in, but also the nurse walks in is also upset, as she should be.
Oh yeah, she screams. Yeah, it's a big bloody mess. So we're back to Dean, and he's trying to call Bobby again for updates, and still nothing yet. And their conversation is basically like, well, either it's the devil or, worst case, it's just Sam. Other worst cases, it's the devil. That's kind of where it's at.
Yeah, it is what it is. But Dean also says, I give you a day until I handle it. What the fuck does handle it mean? Like, are you just going to pop the cap?
Yeah, he's thinking about it. I think
that's just weird. Like, I think like you can get more information, Dean. Like lock him up, do some tests.
Well, he did actually try to call Lisa here. This one's where he does dial, but he hangs up. And then right then
after one ring. Fuck you,
and
dude.
Sam shows up and is like, tells Dean about the dentist drill attack. So they're gonna go. So Dean's like, yeah, why don't you go talk to him?
But
and
Sam's
I'll stay back and research.
Sam was very excited about this drilling. Like, he was gleeful. He was just like, oh, he like drilled. And then like Dean's like, I'm guessing you don't mean in the sexy way. And, just like, but Sam's face is just way too excited about this, about how they died. So then we cut to Sam, and he's outside the jail, and he's talking to the assistant. And I was like, oh man, we miss Dean like being a douchebag about this nurse. Like, I know, like if he'd been there, that would have happened. But
yeah, but apparently the dentist has already hung himself in his cell. But and the assistant heard his confession, which ties back to the truth element of the storyline so far. So, and then there we go. So Dean decides to go sneak into the dentist's office, and the blood splatter in there is fucking insane.
Theirs is a very, very bloody dentist's office.
And a very weird placement of the caution tape. Did you notice this? It's like somebody went to the Halloween store and did like a 10-year-old do like zigzags of caution tape all over the door. It was really I was like, oh, okay.
That's how the cops, at least they actually blocked off this one this time, right? But they were already done processing the scene too. So once again, kudos on you, people in Cuthbert, Illinois, or wherever this was, for how fast your CI was.
And in this exam room, which is kind of I guess you'd think that the dentist would have a separate office, but he doesn't. He's in his exam room. He has a saxophone, and
Must be
next to
evil.
it
Or in
is
a
a
ska
receipt.
band.
His receipt from Harry's House of Horns, and we get a flashback. And we were, if you you may not have noted when it first happened, but when they were searching Jane's place, they noted that she had a tuba, which is quite a choice, and a Harry's House of Horns sticker.
It was one of the reasons she was pathetic, because she played the tuba, which I think is the blatant stereotype. And bitches be banging if you play a tuba. Good for you. You go.
Good for Jane.
Good for you, Jane. So we're gonna go to Harry's horn shop, which has the cello in the window.
It's not a horn. And
did they
Harry,
just run out of horns and they're just like, we're gonna fill the space?
We need something large here. Just put the fucking harp.
That was a lot of horns. I mean, don't get me wrong. That was a lot of horns.
A lot of horns. So, and Harry recognizes both the dentist and Jane as customers, but doesn't really have any connection between them. And he's like, Dean's like, yeah, this store is the only connection I can find. But so I was just see if there's anything you do to help. So anyways, Dean goes to leave, but the guy stops him and says, how about my horn? And you were waiting for that. Apparently he had a 1 in a billion horn stolen.
My horn is so special.
Everyone thinks their horn is special, Liz.
They belong to the museum.
Did. But it's an unknown origin museum piece, and it was stolen the same day that Jane died.
Oh, that must be it.
Yeah. So Dean's gonna go do research. And he's looking up
what?
Gabriel's.
Was he riding a horse?
That's my noise here.
Oh, that's his research. Oh, that's your typing noise. Okay, that sounded like your horse noise.
Yeah, it's very similar. Sorry. So he is researching Gabriel's Horn of Truth and drinking.
So much drinking.
Yeah, there's a lot. And you had mentioned that I should start watching for that. There's a lot of drinking.
It's a lot. At some point, like, you've got to drive baby. Like, how are you talking anymore? Why aren't you shitting yourself, like, all the time? Like, no one should drink this much whiskey. Nobody.
No. So, but he's calling out to Cass and saying, like, oh, there's a friggin' loose, angel nuke on Earth. What the fuck? And Castiel appears. And Dean's pissed that he appears now because he had been asking for Castiel's help with Sam, and Castiel didn't help with that. But Castiel's like, look, I don't have anything to offer on that. I don't think he's not Lucifer, though. I just don't know I don't know what he is, though. So Castiel's like, look, I've got a lot on my plate. There's a war going on. But did you see this Horn of Truth? And Castiel disappears to go look for it.
So I love how petulant Dean is. Like, he is such a little bitch. Like, him and his boyfriend are in this spat. And it's just like, and finally he's just like, fine, go. I don't care. And then, but Cass kind of like, you see, like, he's like, oh, I'm hurting my baby boy. I need to be nice. And so he's like, I'll go look into Sam for you. And so he does. So
after he establishes that the problem is not the Horn of Truth. The Horn of Truth is not tied to the.
Well, yes, in 2 seconds, because he looked everywhere.
Yeah. So he's gonna try to help. We cut to Sam at the morgue, and
he just asked to see all the bodies that came in this week.
From the suicides. Yeah, he's supposed to look at all the suicides, and even the doctor's kind of like the coroner's like, what? The suicides? What are you talking about? But they're gone.
And the thing, and they're like, there's a timeline. I have a lot of timeline issues with this episode too. Like, so it sounded like, because like Jane, like they had to go from like Jane's suicide to the next one, right? To like getting there, like they had to like get to the town, and it sounded like Jane had already been dead for like a week, right? But then like this, I'm very confused in the time here. It's weird.
Yeah, it was several weeks, I thought. So that's a lot of time for me to be there.
I'm just like, why would they still be in the morgue? I can tell you right now, it takes about 10 days to cremate a body. So, like, some of them would probably not be there anymore. They would be somewhere else. Just saying. Yeah.
But they haven't been transferred. They are just gone. So basically, bodies are disappearing out of the morgue. So that's not great. So we cut to
No, but
Dean at the
hilarious.
bar during the day drinking. And while he's sitting there, Sam calls him and is like, hey, the bodies are gone, but one died a whole week before the others, listed as a car wreck. And that's kind of weird. So we need to go check this shit out. And so Sam's like, I'm going to the house. You should be here. So Dean's like, sure, I'm on my way, but let me do a shot before I go. So he orders a shot.
Which is like something you would say. I would also think that, you know, I would love to have a bar that is this quiet that I could hear the news. Oh my God. Like, when could you...
in the background. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't even have closed caption on. It's just quiet and he can just hear the news.
And the bartender's like, are you all right? You know, this one's on me. Do you need anything else? And Dean says he just wants the freaking truth. Ruh-roh. He does his shot.
When he gonna get it?
And he orders another because he's not going to make good decisions. And the bartender, instead of pouring his shot, before she pours his shot, she informs him that sometimes she thinks she can't get pregnant because God knows that her marriage is a sham. And then she asks, why did I say that? And then she's like, probably because I've been snorting Oxy all day. What?
What? This town is terrible. This town, do not go to the city. They want to burn their mothers and they're just fucking snorting Oxy all day.
And running over homeless people.
Probably because she's snorting Oxy with like grandma's
that might
like
have something to do with getting pregnant too. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, probably also, bitch, you don't get pregnant. Like if you've got an Oxy problem, like I'm just saying, you shouldn't do that.
They recommend against
yeah.
So,
but it's just TMI. We are now just in we're in TMI land. This is not the truth. This is not the truth. This is TMI.
It's just weird, yeah. So Dean's like, okay, he's kind of figuring out what's going on, and he figures out what's happening to him. He's like, oh shit. So he's walking out of the bar, and there's a girl sitting at a table by herself with big tits and a really cute dress.
Mm-hmm.
Good, you go, girl. And she tells him that she's sitting like that so he'll look at her breasts because she just bought them and she needs a lot of attention.
Also, I'm sorry, if Jensen Ackles was in a room with me, my top would be lowered and I would be like, yes, I am sitting like this so you can look at my boobs, Mr. Ackles. Like, or Dean Winchester, whatever. Like, I'm sorry, you're just going to make girls do that to you. You should be used to this by now, Mr. Winchester.
So, Dean manages to finally leave after looking a few times at her bosom.
It was a nice rack. So
it was. And then he calls Bobby to see if he's got anything to tell him because he wants to test this theory. He thinks he's going to enjoy hearing, quote unquote, the truth all the time. Bobby instead shares, I'm drinking milk, researching, and watching Tori and Dean because he's a huge Tori Spelling fan, which is awesome.
He is. We learned some fun facts about Bobby.
Yeah, he gets pedicures, and he has a lot of details about the I don't know, the procedure that the Vietnamese chick.
The pedicure, but his pedicure comes from Velvet Phoenix, which was also my stripper name in college. So, you know, but we also learned that Dean is his favorite, but Sam is a better hunter.
Oh. Woo! And then Bobby's asking himself why he's saying this, and Dean's like, because I'm cursed. But it could be good. And Bobby's not right. He thinks this could go poorly, but then he starts to talk about his first girlfriend, so Dean hangs up.
Yeah, but Bobby also rightfully wants to know why every time like Dean goes out to work a case, like half the time he becomes the case, or as he calls him, dirty. But you ain't wrong, Bobby. Like, what, he just became a vampire? Like, what the fuck, Dean? Like, you're not supposed to become what you're hunting. You're just supposed to hunt.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I'm going to go out and become a turkey. Like, what is wrong with you? Okay. So Dean decides he's going to take advantage of all of this.
Oh, yeah. So we've got Sam talking to one of the family members from the first victim that died in a quote unquote car accident, and informs them that, like, hey, this was a suicide. And the chick, she's like, yeah, I kind of wondered about it, Apparently Corey had been going through a hard time, was at school. Her cat had run away, and she thought her
No,
boyfriend was cheating
no.
and got
You can't just say her cat ran away. Her cat, Mittens. Mittens.
Mittens.
Just remember Mittens' name. It's very important. Remember Mittens.
Mittens is missing, and she thought her boyfriend was cheating and got super obsessed about finding out the truth about it. So Sam's gonna go search her room. As he's doing that, Dean pulls up and Lisa calls him back finally. And this probably was something you probably very much were happy with. But this is not the best time, and I don't think Dean knows that he can't not answer, but this is the one he doesn't want the truth on. So it's kind of
because she's pissed. And she's like, you shoved my kid. And then he lies. What the fuck? Like, how come he can't... This is also like, why can he still lie when everyone else has to tell the truth?
That's a stupid rule. So he can't explain what happened. It just...
But he could!
I know, but
he's such a dude! Like, why won't you just tell her I was a vampire? Like, that pretty much, like, would sum, like, everything. The fuck is wrong with you? Why can't... I hate this so much.
Yeah.
You're just trying to break up Dean and Lisa.
I don't like it. I like Dean.
It's stupid.
And she's like, look, you just keep shoving stuff down. And I mean, obviously, if you keep shoving stuff down and, you know, you're going to freak out eventually. I know things were over, though, when she tells him she knew things were over when Sam came back. Not because that she doesn't like Sam, doesn't want him to have his brother, but your relationship's just all tangled up. And as long as Sam's in your life, you're never going to be really happy. She said it came out harsher than she meant because she has a sister. But if her sister was killed, she wouldn't try to bring her back from the dead.
Oh, damn. Yes, Lisa. Yes, Lisa. Okay, Dean, she's absolutely right. You were very shitty. You and your brother have a codependent relationship. You have dumped all this shit on her and her son. She has a son, and you're just like hanging out with him, and you're fucking up her relationship, and you think it's fine? No, you go, Lisa. And then I think she dumps him.
Yeah, she said her and Ben can't be in this with him and hangs up. She apologizes too. She said, I'm sorry.
Well, and you know, she feels bad, but also like, I get it, girl. Like you were a good person in a relationship with a douchebag, and you have been making excuses for, I may be projecting here, but you have been making excuses for this douchebag for a very long time. And you finally got your nerve and got your backbone, and you're like, I can't do this. And then he keeps calling and trying to get back with you. And you're like, you shoved my kid. Like, that's just a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker. I'm sorry.
And I'm not saying that it's okay that he shoved Ben. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying if he was like, oh my God, I'm so fucking sorry. In fairness, I was a vampire, so I didn't mean it, but it doesn't make it okay. Like, there's some kind of like, is there like a vampire out? I don't know, but I feel like that would be
I don't know there's a vampire out, but like it's still you're not being honest.
An explanation or an explanation.
The fact that you're withholding information, and that is a bad relationship. Like you cannot and she's also fucking right that Sam and Dean Winchester are codependent. Toxic. Don't you know that you're toxic?
So we've got Sam searching the bedroom and finds a box under the bed with a cat skull and jars of herby stuff.
No,
so Mittens didn't go missing. That made Corey sad. Corey killed Mittens.
She killed Mittens.
So Dean shows up.
Never. No man is worth my... What the fuck is wrong with you? You are not a crazy cat lady. Crazy cat ladies would never kill their cat for a man. I'm sorry. I always choose my cat.
Yeah.
You can put that on a shirt.
So I always choose my cat. So Dean's there and he's like, look, tell Sam I've got questions, you're gonna tell me the truth. And this is when Sam realizes that Dean's got the curse, so apparently I am gonna tell the truth. So Dean
he's being he's just like now must tell the truth now, and Sam's just like, what the fuck.
Like, okay, coming in hot, bro. So
a little thirsty, Dean.
Sam why he stood there when the vampire attacked him to turn him. And Sam's like, I didn't, I just froze. And Dean's like, no, you've been like a Terminator since you got back. But Sam's like, no, really, but you're my brother. I just froze. Look, remember, I can't lie. Like, well, you think I'd let something happen on purpose? And Dean is really upset because now he feels like he must have been wrong. And now he's feeling like he actually is getting the truth, and he's really upset about it.
This is the epitome definition of what gaslit means. Like, if any of you ever have wondered what being gaslit was like, it's this. This is where somebody is lying to your goddamn face. And, like, yes, as Lisa said, your relationship is fucking toxic. Your brother is currently gaslighting you about what the fuck he did. This sounds so, like, I was like, your brother is gaslighting you about what the time the vampire bit you.
That is so funny. Yeah. So they're walking out. He's like, I've always got your back. Yeah, that's it. So back at the motel, we've got Sam and Dean with the cat skull and the other items from the box under the bed. And apparently it is the components for a summoning spell, specifically for Veritas, the goddess of truth.
Okay, so Dean is fondling Mittens, and Sam he really is. He's just like he's not skull fucking Mittens, but it's pretty close. It's a skull fondling Mittens. And so Sam goes, here is this website, and here is this picture of Veritas, goddess of truth. Dun dun dun. So clearly it is time for one of those stupid game shows. And we're calling this Diana, you can't handle the Veritas. So I'm going to tell you a maybe a fact. We're going to call it a fact, but I'll make a statement. And then you have to decide if it's the truth or if I am being a filthy, filthy liar.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure. Let's do it.
The first statement. Okay, so remember how I just said Dean and Sam had this thing, and there was this picture on it, and it said Veritas, goddess of truth? Mm-hmm. This is the first statement. This is a picture of Veritas, the Roman goddess of truth. Is that the truth, or am I a filthy, filthy liar?
I thought it was a picture of the goddess of truth. So, yeah, it's a picture of the goddess of truth.
No, I'm a filthy, filthy liar because that is actually a portrait of the Byzantine Empress Theodora. This is a detail from a mosaic called Empress Theodora and her retinue. She was the wife of the Roman Emperor Justinian. That is not a picture of Veritas.
Well, damn. Okay.
Yeah, all right. So far, I'm just a liar, and you're not. Yeah, I mean, I just won't take you places like, certain heists. You can't come. All right, so your second question. If you are looking for the Roman goddess Veritas, you may want to try looking at the bottom of a well. Is that the truth or a lie?
I think that's the truth.
It is. She likes wells because it requires considerable expense in time and purpose for those bent on discovering her whereabouts and characters. I guess it means like it's really, if you're looking for the truth, it's really hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You fun Romans. Okay. We're going to talk about another. There obviously wasn't a ton on. We're going to talk about some other goddesses of truth here too.
Okay.
So there's an Egyptian goddess of truth, Maat. Her name is spelled M-A''AT. And I looked up, there is a pronunciation thing, how to say it. There's Maat. It just kind of sounds like a sheep or something.
Yeah.
Maat. But I'm not, no disrespect to you. All right. So the Egyptian truth goddess Maat is represented by a feather because the truth is light.
I don't think that's true. I think you're a filthy liar.
It's not true. I mean, she is represented by a feather, usually an ostrich feather, but that's not because of truth is light. That's because she is basically like a judgment, almost like she wasn't a psychopomp, but she helped judge like the souls, right? So she would like within the Egyptian world, right? You know how the heart was very important?
Yes.
You see, do you want me to continue? Do you have something you want to say?
Yeah,
You're about to
continue.
burst.
I think I just had something.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. So they would. That's one of the last organs, and basically like the heart is where I think it's called your ka, but like your soul was, right? So at your death judgment, she would weigh the heart of each person against the weight of the ostrich feather. And if the heart weighed the same or less, they were considered worthy and just, and they can continue into the afterlife. And if the scales indicated that the heart was heavier than the feather, that basically meant that you were a shitty person or did not follow Mott. Sorry, lady. Like, your name probably sounds way cooler than a sheep sound. Mott. But so basically, if that happened, then you got eaten by a demon. Well, the heart got eaten by a demon. So then you can't go into the afterlife. Although in some versions of this, the crocodile-headed Amut would also eat the person. So either you got eaten by a demon or by Amut. And then nom, 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 nom.
That's unpleasant. I think there's a reference to, so I learned about this from the 1983 Don't Eat the Pictures Sesame Street movie with Big Bird.
What?
They get locked. The Sesame Street gang goes to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And Big Bird loses Snuffleup, I guess, gets locked in the museum, blah, blah, blah. But there is a scene in the Egyptian, I was like, I know this. They get locked in the, they end up with the Egyptian, like, exhibit, and there's a part where they measure your heart against a feather.
Aw, Sesame Street, you taught us so much. I love you, Muppets. All right. Another question about Mott. All right, number 4. Is this a truth or a lie? Egyptian laws were based on her teachings.
I guess that would make sense for them to be, because truth, yes? Truth.
Yes, she was. So the spirit of Mott became the. I'm so sorry. I know. I would just feel like an asshole every time I say that. Like
Mott.
maybe it'll just make a feather sound. I don't know. Just so like my terrible Southern accent is not that offensive. Okay, so but basically this became the idea of how Egyptian judges applied justice. And so starting in the 5th dynasty, they referred to the head of justice as the priest of Mott. And after 2370 BCE, the judges would wear the image of her while they were on duty. But they believed that that justice and fairness equal peace and harmony. And so this is something that echoes with Veritas too. So Veritas, being the Roman goddess of truth, is something that you'll see Veritas come into a lot of things and mottos and names of stuff. Okay. Yeah. So this goes into our last question about things that are named Veritas. And I just like watching like Diana's pulse go. But I'm not going to talk about that. Maybe.
Thank you.
Okay. So according to a famous Latin motto, in beer, there is truth. Is that a lie or is that the truth? Is there a Latin motto that says, in beer, there is truth?
That you're a liar.
Damn right I am. Do you remember what it actually is?
It's wine. Vino
Veritas. It is in Vino Veritas. And sometimes, and this, this basically means that if you're drinking, you're more likely to basically spill your guts, which is true, right? Sometimes it's also followed by, if in water, there's good sense in aqua sanitas. So, if you're drinking water, but also if your water is full of contaminants and toxic, like it probably was in Rome, then the wine may make more sense. Yeah, and I refrain from anything regarding words O'Keefe or stuff. So that is the end of our You Can't Handle the Veritas. The Veritas. So I keep leaning back from the microphone. So hopefully,
yeah.
Woohoo! So we learned things about Veritas, I think.
For sure.
Right?
And so now we are back to our Winchester brothers trying to solve the case of the goddess of truth. So basically they figured out that in this town, if you ask for the truth, you get slammed with it until you kill yourself, basically.
I have issues with this premise.
Because it's not the fucking truth.
It's not the truth. You're getting slammed with, like, so when Little Miss Jane, the beginning of it, like, people are beyond, like, the guy telling her she was a 3. Like, she was hearing voices just being like, you're pathetic, you're useless. And I'm pretty sure nobody gives a shit about Jane. Like, nobody is like...
People weren't paying attention to the waitress walking by to have that much of a formulated opinion about her.
They were thinking about murdering their mother in her bed. You know, like, they don't...
Or drinking their iced tea.
Or drinking their iced tea. Or, like, should I get this ranch?
Yeah. The answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very odd. But that basically Veritas, the goddess, she's like, these bodies would be tributes because she wants to eat them. So now
she wants to eat them, but she also wants to be worshipped too. Like, I think, which is, and they do have this running theme with a lot of pagan deities, you know, within the show. Like, they don't get. Sometimes that kind of annoys me about this show. Like, oh, nobody cares about people worship pagan shit all the time. I don't know why my voice got so squeaky when I said that, but it's true.
They're trying to figure out who would be the attention whore, quote unquote, Dean's words, not mine, that it would be the 21st century of speaking truth to the masses. Fucking news.
Or pundits. Pundits are fucking attention whores.
Yeah, more pundits than news. This is not a quote unquote journalist. This is a pundit.
She had opinions. She was like, this is... Yeah, like, you know, so many of the things that have ruined fucking journalism. So
Ashley Frank is the news reporter. We've seen her multiple times in this episode.
Her name is Ashley Frank, and her show is called Frank Talk, which again makes me want a hot dog.
Oh my god. So she's an investigative reporter. And
the newscaster that was on the bar from earlier.
Yeah. We've seen her before on this episode. And so
I'm going to pause here. I want to ask, so when I didn't want to say it until we got to this point. So when you saw her like on the like, had she clicked on your radar before this, like, as like a thing, like when she was on the news, was it clicking as a thing? Because she was saying stuff about the truth, right? She was dropping hints in there, but it was very backgroundy.
The way that was very backgroundy, and I didn't really catch too much about the truth stuff. I heard a little bit, but then also just how clear it was made me like kind of go, should I be paying attention to this? Mm-hmm. The show's pretty good about that.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you caught on to like, because they drop, like, I love it when they drop something in that it was obvious, but not completely obvious, right? Yeah. And I knew enough to be looking to hear what she was saying and then go, oh yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, so and they go to really
what the hell?
What do they steal? What do they steal out of this news place?
Her computer.
What's her computer? They stole a fucking tower. Yeah. They stole a tower. They didn't just they didn't just go in and like copy the drive, or they walked out with a fucking tower. Which I don't even know if children today like have any idea what that even is. Like, it was
I still have some at work.
No, honey. No.
Some of our stuff we have to, but that's a different story. Anyways,
you're so sad.
They still sell towers. You can buy a brand new tower with a great processor, by the way.
Anyways, but you don't need to buy it. Anyways, okay. All right, moving on. So they just stole her desktop.
Yeah, which is insane. Insane.
And for her reels, like why are the reels on this desk?
On her desktop, it makes no sense.
That's not how not how television works. You work in television. Y'all know how television works. Okay, whatever. All right, moving on.
So they're gonna go watch 14. They're gonna watch 14 plus hours of raw footage. Basically, now is what's happening. Finally,
at least she's funny. I would watch it.
And finally see a scene where a dog barks behind her and she doesn't like it because apparently Goddess Veritas doesn't like dogs, like cats.
Well, yeah. Also, they decide somewhere in this that Veritas is a cat person. That's like not. I didn't bring that up, but that's nowhere. I don't know where that came from. That she's a cat goddess. Like even the Egyptian Mott, like who they love cats. She's not a cat goddess.
No, and but she gets glowy eyes. Woohoo!
Yep.
Catch the glowy eyes. Confirmed.
Not human.
So they.
What also confirms her is not human is that she has a headscarf on in her convertible. The bitch remembered to pack a headscarf and put it on. Hats to you.
Bad
I actually really.
Bitch.
I love your style. I love you, fucking Ashley Frank. I want to be your best friend.
Yeah.
All right.
And so she pulls out in her 1973 Jaguar XKE convertible.
Yes.
Not a common car.
Yes. I'm glad on you.
Not
Good
a
on you.
common car, and not always clearly identified in some of the wikis. We, Babe and I went down a rabbit hole, did some research, but I've seen it kind of a range of years where people weren't sure which one, but we're pretty confident 73 XKE.
Thank you, Diana and Babe, for your lovely auto research.
So, of course, they followed her to a beautiful, super modern house. That's really fucking
this
cool.
house, and I will talk about this house a lot. So amazing. But before they go inside, something's happening.
Yeah, Dean's got 2 knives, and Sam has a jar full of dog blood that they have to dip the knives in. I don't like that. It's really sad.
I don't understand. Like I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm gonna go back to. I think it's very cute that Dean goes aha and like pulls out his 2 knives, and I think that's adorable. We're not just moving past a dog's blood, and we're going into this wonderful minimalist modern house. Fuck! Look at that wall. There's like the waterfall feature thing. Oh my god! Why don't I want the waterfall feature so much? It just seems so calming. Oh my god! There's a kitty. It's like a ginger kitty. It's got cat statues, and there's a picture again of not Veritas. There's a picture of this.
And candles. And then they go in the room and there's a lot of dead bodies.
It was just like one main feature corpse. Like a lot.
Like there was more than one feature corpse. There was
whatever. There was cat statues.
And
I really only saw. I was. I mean, they get hungry. I'm not going to tell you. There's something I need to tell Diana later. Okay, so all right, so we've got like kitties, and this is just really looks like a spa. Like honestly, it looks like
it does look like it would have been someone's home spa for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Who gets a spa in their house? Fuck you, you, Veritas.
Correct. And she flings them across the room because she's in there and she sees them. You came for dinner.
Yeah, and then she ties them to, I guess, like accessibility handles that are conveniently in the wall.
Which is funny because that they have she has accessibility rails in her spa in her house that's not really being used for water, but for blood drainage, apparently.
But hey, also, if you're a serial killer or this is practical, find a home with I want to have that realtor. Oh my God. I just had this joy of like imagining going to a realtor with my wish list and being like, drains in the basement for projects.
So we're gonna get a nice little mini monologue from Veritas.
It's not too long.
No, this is a mini one because she's eating the dentist's tongue, talking about how the tasty part because it's when lies roll off.
And just so you know, that was a sashimi grade sushi tuna. So it was actually probably really good. Although, like, you would have to keep that cold because I imagine she could do a lot of takes of eating this. And like, can you make it spicy this time?
Imagine it being like warm. but tells basically that both brothers they're liars, and Dean tries to like play it off like that's a compliment for their job, but she's like, yeah, no, let's play truth or truth. So she's trying to trap them into talking shit on each other because she feels like she can
also she's smoking hot now, right? I think we should not ignore that. She was hot as like the newscaster, but now she's like
they did a she's all that.
She took off her glasses and like she didn't even take her hair down though. She's like decorated her hair.
It. Yeah,
and now it's got some spirals in it.
Now she hot. She's all that goddess edition. Anyways, so they're gonna play truth or truth, and she wants to know what Dean really feels about his brother. And Dean's like, I'm better now. Yesterday I wanted to kill him in his sleep. So we have the answer of what he was trying to do. But I thought he was a monster. But I think he's just acting like me now and blames this. And it's like this job, being a hunter does it. I thought I wanted a family. She's like, that's a lie. And he's like, no. But slicing throats is what I'm good at. I'm a killer. There's no changing that.
Yeah, I don't like this at all. So, like, apparently, like, Dean has decided that the job has just made Sam hard. And that's why he can't be emotionally available for his girlfriend and her son. Yeah, whatever. Fuck off, Dean. Then she calls Sam Mallory to his Mickey, which I do appreciate, a Natural Born Killers reference. Although, again, have not watched that in a while. I'm sure it does not hold up. I think I want to leave the memory as it is. So,
yeah. So she asks Sam how he feels about the band being back together. And Sam replies with, what we do is hard, but we watch out for each other. Aww. Only she pissed.
Yep.
Because she is like, nope, that's not the truth. You're lying. What are you? That's not it. You are not human. What the fuck?
See, and this goes back to why I like had an issue with those fucking people on the cruise ship, because they're just like saying this stuff that's not what they mean, right? So she gets very frustrated because she's like, Sam, why are you doing this? And he's just like, I want to watch out for him. And you fucking liar. Just tell the truth, Sam. But he's not. And so he's not human. Oh.
But he just managed to cut his ropes free and gives the knife to Dean to cut his own ropes free. And so we get a fight with Veritas and Sam. And basically, she's winning. It goes back and forth a little bit. And Dean stabs her, and then Sam stabs her, and then she dead. We do get a crazy monster face in the middle of this.
No, it's a cute kitty. She turns into a cute kitty. She like stabs, because my note says Dean stabs her. She turns into a cute kitty, meow, and then Sam stabs her, and she dies.
I don't think it was quite a meow. I think it was more like a
ow. You see your cat face, I see mine.
So Dean was not done with this after hearing this about Sam. So he's holding his knife up to Sam. And Sam's like, no, it's me. Just let me explain. She's right. I know something's wrong. I know that I lied. And I know that I did let you get turned. I know some things. I know something should stop me from doing this. I just don't feel anything. But I'm a better hunter. So I really don't know what's wrong. But I need your help. So and Dean puts his knife down and proceeds to punch Sam about a dozen times until he's unconscious.
A lot. Like a lot.
I counted. It was like a fucking dozen times.
It was like he should be dead. Or it's just like maybe saying like he is such like a giant man that he can't. But the thing is like he just, I don't know. Why are you punching him so many times? That's not okay. This is not no, this is like you should be arrested for this. Like this is not good shit. Like nobody should punch anybody in their family ever, but much less that many times. Like I could get like once, like one solid, like, oh you motherfucker, like this is God's honest, like bam, like one bam is acceptable. Yeah. This is. So before, I guess, I think we have a lot to dive in kind of on that ending note, but do you want to do a...
Casting couch?
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
So, yeah, we've got, starting off, I will talk about Jane. Jane Peterson is played by Ingrid Nelson. She actually does a lot of voice work and continues to do it now for animation. Strawberry Shortcake, anime, My Little Pony, and by these I mean the new iterations in the aughts.
Did she have a face
so.
for radio? I'm just kidding. She's adorable.
Oh.
I think you're very cute. I think they did you a disservice. What was her name again?
The character is Jane. Actress is Ingrid.
No, Ingrid, you're adorable. You're not a 3. I think you're a 10 across the board.
Yeah, and she did Barbie, Littlest Pet Shop, and she also played Camille in The Magicians. So she was on several episodes of The Magicians as well. Dr. Paul Connolly, our dentist, was played by Roger Haskett. He's actually done a little bit of stunt work, funny enough. Tons of TV, but mostly single episodes. So you may have seen his face, but maybe not consistently. He was Dr. Carroll in the miniseries Wayward Pines, which was an interesting sci-fi miniseries.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, that's a good one.
It was a good one. Yeah. Harry from Harry's House of Horns was played by David Avalon. He was the waiter in the Santa Claus movie, Pom Pom and Elf. So 2 of my favorite Christmas movies. Boom. And he was a regular role, Doc, in the Once Upon a Time series, like dozens of episodes.
Okay, yeah.
Our bartender was played by Vicky Lambert. Interestingly, a lot of her credits, like she was in one episode of Magicians, but like most of her credits are dancer credits. So she actually has a background in dance. Sucker Punch, Mirror Mirror, Julie and the Phantoms, Enchanted. She's a dancer in all of those.
Those are all like chick. Those are really chick forward movies too. Yeah, go girl. I can't believe I said go girl. Please shoot me. Okay, go on.
Our dental assistant was played by Fiona Vroom. Her last name is spelled Vroom.
That was also my stripper name in college.
Damn it. So she had small roles in Step It Up All In, Big Eyes, Kindergarten Cop 2, Star Trek Beyond, and the 2017 Power Rangers film. She's also in multiple episodes of shows like Bates Motel, Hell on Wheels, X-Files, the 2019 version of Are You Afraid of the Dark, and was a regular character, Ms. Gillies, in Snowpiercer, the series.
Snowpiercer? Is that a Netflix thing?
It was a series. I forget which one. What it's on.
I don't know.
I think so.
It sounds weird. I don't know what that is.
And then Ashley Frank, aka Veritas, is played by Serinda Swan.
That's also a great name, Serinda Swan. Like, how do you spell Serinda?
Serinda.
I love it. That's a good name.
Aphrodite in the Percy Jackson films, so she's played.
Oh, so she's just like a goddess. Like, I mean, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a siren in Tron Legacy.
What?
I know. And then she was in a few episodes, regular or reoccurring character in Smallville. She was in a movie called Jinn, Jin, a horror movie called Jinn. That's always funny. And then she was a regular character, Agent Paige Arkin, in the show Graceland, and in several episodes of the show Ballers, she played Chloe. Not a show I'm into.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes, it's got Dwayne the Rock Johnson in it, and I've tried to watch it many times because I do like some of the tropes, but I just can't. It's too much sports.
Yeah,
I've tried.
So yeah, so we had a good one. Good cast.
Yeah, it was a good cast. I think there's a lot of just I don't want to say cameos, but I think the guest stars did. They were just really. It was a good ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use that.
No,
word.
I agree, and I think I think that really like the biggest driver of this episode. I mean, like, yeah, we have like this ancillary background of Veritas like causing all these people to die, which is awful, of course. But really the biggest driver of this episode is Dean trying to figure out what the fuck Sam is. That's really what it is. That's what we're trying to get to. And that's what this whole thing was written about, in my opinion.
Fair. I think, but we still don't know. No. And we have, this, but also, like, I just don't trust Sam as far as I could throw him. And nobody can throw Jared Padalecki very far. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, it'd be like, I mean, I would like to try. Come on, Jared. Like, come down. I'm down in SA, your hometown. Like, yeah, like we'll go to your high school. Like, I think you went to Madison. Like, we'll go to the football field. I'll like try and do like the, like the football thing where you run and like you push the dummies forward. Yeah, there's probably a word for it. I will try and
I don't know what it's called. I understand.
We'll raise money for charity, Mr. Padalecki. I'm sure you can find a way. But anyways, he's like saying that he doesn't know what is wrong with him either, and he admits it, right? He's just like, nah, I'm fucked up.
Wrong, but I don't know what.
And I need help. But Dean's like response to I need help is I'm gonna punch you a bunch of times in the face.
Well, I think the problem is that he feels like Sam knew something was wrong and lied to him about it earlier, because he did lie to him about the vampire thing earlier. He did lie. And I feel like, so I'm not saying that it's okay that Dean punched him in the face a dozen times. I'm saying that I do think that Sam knew something. We all know he knew something. We know that. He knows that. And he did not disclose that. And if you're living in that close quarters in life or death situations with somebody, you should probably fucking tell them if there's something fucked up going on.
But at the same, I mean, like, we've already known, like, he was back for a year and didn't tell him. Yeah. Like, so clearly something's not, like, I mean, like, it's kind of on you, Dean, for, like, ever, like, accepting that this was fine. Like, right. Like, maybe Sam doesn't know.
Campbell's thing isn't fine. Sam, maybe he doesn't. But I feel like they should have had this conversation that shit's fucked and we don't know what's wrong earlier. But
this is also on Dean for like not basically he's continually to grow these resenting feelings. And he's just becoming passive aggressive about it. He's just like holding this in like, I don't know, Bobby. And he's talking shit about Sam behind his back. Nobody wants that. Like it's like even like what's going on. We don't know what's going on, but basically like. Everybody kind of like, I don't know, like this is a thing that I have is like when you think like your friends are talking about you. It's literally an ADHD symptom, but like to have that actually be the case, or like your brother is talking about you behind your back to like your bona fide dad figure, like something's wrong, and like you're not having this conversation with Sam and Bobby. Being like, something's off. You're just like, I don't know. I think I'm going to kill him.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, and like, after like, you just treated your girlfriend like shit, hit her kid. Like, you shoved him, you didn't hit him, but you still shoved her kid. Like, fuck you, Dean Winchester. Like, I'm so, like, at this point, I'm just kind of like, you're hot, man, but you're not a good person right now.
I agree. I'm not quite as far out as you on it, but I think because I'm still like, I get him he was so hopeful about his brother being back, and then he was so distrustful, and it was probably really mind fucking him to process like, all I wanted was him back, and now he's back, but I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know.
Fair, but also I think at least the thing points out y'all had problems before he even went in that hole.
It was totally fucked. They were already fucked before that. Yeah, that was a whole fiasco.
Yeah, your family like all needs to be in therapy, like 24/7 therapy. Yeah. Maybe they should do a crossover with Lucifer and then go.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, there's your fan fiction. I'm sure somebody wrote this already. All right. Anything else we need to break down for this episode? Okay, so everyone's a liar. Bobby loves Tori Spelling, which I'm totally on board with. Yeah, no. Also, never ever go to Calumet City, Illinois.
Oh, people are terrible.
People are terrible there. They will definitely steal the radio out of your car. We didn't see that in this episode, but you know that happens there all the time. All right. So, on that note, cheers, Shirk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios podcast network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.